Hey, welcome to our third session in a series that we're calling Quality Quarantine, making the most of the mess that we're in. If you're new and just joining us for the first time, or you haven't seen the first and second session, I want to encourage you after the finish of this video is just to jump back and to check out what we've talked about in the first two. We talked about Jesus in this time and in times past and in the future is the antidote for our anxiety. We also talked about how in moments where it is tough, the church is built for this. Like the Hoover Dam, the more pressure that it experiences, the more that it produces. You and I are called to live a life that is built for moments like this. Our third series tonight is about rhythm. And I know you're probably a little nervous that I might start dancing, which I can't promise won't happen. But rhythm is more of living a life with pace on purpose. It's something that's often neglected, but it's really, really important. There's a story that I love about two lumberjacks. They were in the Pacific Northwest, a place that's beautiful for its amount of trees and forests, but these lumberjacks were getting paid for the amount of trees that they cut down. The first lumberjack, we'll call him Lumberjack A, let's call him Joe. Joe worked for an entire day and he never ever took a break. Pete, who's our second guy, sorry if you're Joe, Pete, our second guy, instead of working all day, what he did is every once in a while he would circle around the backside of the tree and disappear for a few minutes only to come back out again. Joe noticed that Pete in the middle of the day also took a break for lunch. And when the day had concluded, remember they're getting paid for the number of trees that they cut down, Joe had produced 12 and Pete had produced 24. How is that possible? Well, the truth is this: when Joe asked Pete, how are you able to cut down so many trees? Pete encouraged him and said, look, every time I circled around the backside of the tree, I wasn't just taking a break, I was taking a moment to sharpen my axe. Every time he circled around the backside of the tree, he made sure that his tool was sharp for the task at hand. See, it wasn't just about the number of swings that he took at the tree, it was about how sharp his instrument was. Think about this quarantine as an opportunity to sharpen your faith, as an opportunity to sharpen your relationship with the Lord. There's a moment I love in Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 and 29, where Jesus says this: "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. You will find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy, my burden is light." Jesus invites us to live a life of rhythm. I can't think of a better moment in time to think about how your life either is or is not lived in rhythms. Think about them in a few different ways. First, think about your rhythm for rest. Do you have any sort of rhythm that establishes rest in your daily activities and also in your weekly and your monthly schedule? Do you have any semblance or any idea or any pattern for rest? The second one is work. In this time, where everything in our schedule seems to be reduced, have you established a rhythm for your work? And the third area I'd love to encourage you to establish a pattern or a rhythm for is play. Not only rest, not only work, but you have a rhythm for play, for genuine recreation that gets you re-energized and excited. God has designed you, actually from Genesis 1 all the way through, He's designed the world with rhythm, and He's designed you and I to be free from hustle, to be freed from just working, and also to be freed from just being lazy. God has designed you to live a life of rhythm. So it's short and it's sweet, but I want you to embrace God in Christ, who calls us to take His burden, which is a yoke next to Him, and to take His burden and His calling, which is easy and which is light, and to live a life of rhythm that is connected to God's power in Christ. So be safe, stay connected, and we look forward to seeing you for our next session of Quality Quarantine. Welcome to what we're doing is trying to make the most of the mess that we're in.